From brain fog to hot flashes,
mood swings to mystery symptoms,
we're asking the big question. Can
I blame it on menopause? Join us as we share stories, laugh through the chaos, and talk about things women wish they'd known sooner.
It's honest, it's relatable, and it's about time.
Hello, Lissa.
Well, that was cool.
It was really cool. I liked it. That was cool.
Look at us figuring out technology.
I know. Well, you. I like how it's all British there. Hello, Lissa. Good afternoon.
Well, it's probably because you're back in the U.S. now.
I am. Yes. So, listeners, watchers, what have yous. I was in Ireland with my husband for our anniversary. Was that last week? 2 weeks ago? I don't even remember. It's been a while. But I wanted to tell you that while I was there, they were talking about menopause on their morning shows. You know how I love going to grocery stores in other countries? I'm a nerd like that. That's kind of my thing.
Yes.
Tim's thing is he likes to watch the news, local news, wherever we are. So I know it's weird.
Nerd alert.
I know, right? It's super weird, but he likes to do that. So we're watching this morning news show in Dublin, and they had this whole segment on menopause. And there was a comedian who accidentally started talking about menopause once, and it caught on. So she just did this whole show around it. And then there was a physical therapist on there talking about how important Kegels are before you have babies and then when you hit menopause, because of all the things it helps with, which I'll explain after this. But the host said, so you know how morning shows are always a guy and a girl? It's always a guy and a girl. And so the guy host says, so that's like a muscle you can't see. How do you know that they're doing it properly? And the physical therapist said, well, I actually put my fingers inside them to make sure it's working.
What?
Can't she just trust her patients? I mean, honestly.
I mean, she's going to have to buy me dinner first.
I was like, no. No. Just trust me.
I'm going to need you to take my word for it.
Yeah. What? No. Anyway, so you're probably wondering, right? Why Kegels are good for menopause? Or maybe you already know.
Absolutely.
Oh, you want to know?
No, I've seen it popping up, but I didn't read into it, what the benefit to that is.
I did.
The obvious.
Right. I did after watching the physical therapist who gets intimate with her patients. Such a bizarre thing. Anyway, so it strengthens your pelvic floor, which they weaken because of hormonal fluctuation. Your estrogen is lower. And then it also can help reduce urinary incontinence. So, when you laugh, pee, you fart, pee,
Right.
And I've actually never fart peed. I don't know why I said that.
I was actually thinking that. I was like, I don't know if I've ever heard of fart peeing, but I hope I never find out.
No, I don't know why I said that. But, laugh, pee, sneeze, pee. The mom that crosses her leg when she sneezes, that's me.
Yeah.
Which sucks because my baby was really little and I had a C-section. So I don't feel like that's fair. But anyway, it also helps prevent pelvic organ prolapse, which everybody's heard those horror stories where your vagina falls, or not your vagina, your uterus falls down into your vagina.
Yes.
And then it can also, this one's just for you, Liz, it helps improve your sex life.
I don't know if that needs much improving, Bo.
Well, and I wonder if they're taking into account the physical therapist putting her fingers in there as sex life. I don't know.
I mean, that's a separate sex life.
Right. And you're paying her for it.
I know, right? I mean, that's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. I wonder if people know that going into those. I know. Do you think people know that going into that appointment? Hey, just so you know, you're going to practice these, but you're going to do it pantsless.
Right, and I'm going to see if this is working. Like
Right.
there has to be a consent somewhere.
Right? Like,
I'm just
where's the trust, lady? Where's the goddamn trust? No, it doesn't that just prove
I
that like women, like, they go through so much stuff? Like, I don't think there's a doctor in this town
yeah,
that in my vagina.
right? And I never knew, like, obviously we knew, like, you're supposed to do Kegels, which, I mean, I'm going to be really honest. I've never been great at. I don't know. I don't even know why I can't bring myself to do the easiest exercise ever, but I just am not, I just don't.
I don't like it.
And
I'm doing it right
so,
now. I'm doing it right now, and I'm not a fan.
oh,
Not a fan.
yeah, I could do it too, but then I have to focus on that. And then
Yeah,
it's
that's what
like, that's hard enough. I can't.
it's a weird sensation.
Um,
I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, I just don't, I guess I don't worry about it because I've not had an issue with it yet. So I
You don't sneeze
don't give it
pee?
a ton of thought. I have before, but I mean, I have to like really have to pee for that to even be a concern. Like I can still relatively well, I can cork it midstream if I need to.
I will tell
Is
you,
there
I
an
was in,
open share? Is there
no, not at
sharing
all.
of this?
I mean, we have shared so
Okay.
much. I'll tell you, I was in Jamaica for a work trip and I got sick. I got whatever was going around and I was coughing really bad. I was wearing white pants and I cough peed
Oh, and white pants.
in white pants. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Were you really hydrated, hopefully? So it was clear?
I don't remember. I got sent back to my hotel room, not because I peed my pants, but because I was sick. So nobody saw
They're
it.
like, get out of here. You're a disgrace.
You do not need to represent our company. Please just leave.
I will say sneeze peeing has not happened to me very often. Laugh peeing has happened to me. And I had one night in particular, and it was with two of my kids. We were here by ourselves, unsupervised. I mean, why anybody lets me be unsupervised with teenage boys, because I'm right there with them. Like we are
Yeah.
laughing at the same thing, and it's crazy. So, case in point, I decided to play a prank on my oldest, who is easily grossed out by things because he is very clean. He doesn't, he's not so much like OCD and like a germaphobe, but he doesn't like to be sticky. He doesn't like it. He cried on his first birthday because we put his hands in his cake. He would go outside and play as a little kid and then be like, I need to wash my hands. And I'm like, no, we're still playing outside. So he is still very much that way. And I decide he is picking on his little brother because he's the oldest and that's what you do, right? And so I decided to get some revenge. We had made some like pulled pork or some sort of barbecue, something for dinner. So there was barbecue sauce still sitting out. And he had been tormenting his brother with our toilet plunger, which was
Oh,
clean
okay.
for a toilet plunger. And so I put barbecue sauce on that and I yank it from his hand first. I put barbecue sauce on it at some point while he's wrestling around with his brother in the living room. And then I hit him with it, which of course flings like the sauce onto him.
Oh,
And
gross.
I look at it and I just act horrified. And I'm like, oh my gosh, brother, there was something on there. And like, I can still see his face as like it began to like, he was figuring out like what had happened. His reaction was absolutely beyond anything I could have ever even imagined. I was laughing so hard I peed my pants. I legitimately peed because I was also crying from laughing so hard.
Right.
So just so anybody wants to know anything about me and the kind of mother I am, that's who I am. And we
Well,
have cameras, and I obviously checked those and pulled the footage from them immediately so we can hold on to that forever.
oh, that's hilarious. How long ago is that?
Maybe like 2-ish years ago, something
Oh,
like
wow.
that, if that long. Yeah, it was fantastic. But I definitely laughed so hard. At one point in the video, you hear me say, I'm going to pee my pants. And then I
And then you
do.
actually did.
I
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
Like
don't know.
I thought my head was going to explode. I was laughing so hard.
That's funny. So that's the news that I learned in Ireland. That's my
Way
big
to bring us
report.
back around. Thank you.
That's my big report. Yeah.
No, I think that's interesting. I think that they're talking a lot about menopause now. Like, I
Yeah,
think that
everybody.
it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that we're probably more aware of it than we once were. But I definitely think it's being talked about more. I think that there's a lot of stories and, news things that are happening, and there's a lot of things online. I just think that our generation, like as we're entering that, like as with the kind of technology we have and the platforms, so to speak, that we can utilize, I think that we're really trying to like break that silence that,
Yeah.
like it ends like that will end with us. Like our daughters will be better prepared for this because we are going to prepare them, because we are, as a generation and society, are actively working to do that. So I think that's fantastic. And it's great to know that it's even worldwide, not just in the US.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting. If you want me to find out what other countries think about it, I'm more than happy to travel abroad and find out.
That's
Feel
great.
free
We
to
should start a
donate.
GoFundMe for that.
Yeah. Please feel free to donate. Where should I go next? Bora
We'll do our
Bora,
research.
or I'll go wherever you want me to. Bora Bora,
Right.
Jamaica,
I mean,
not Jamaica.
preferably, I was like, I'm very interested in what they feel in the Caribbean. So if
Yes,
you
I
want to
mean,
send me there, or
I
maybe the
know.
Mediterranean, I'd be interested to know.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty. I really need to know what they think about that there in Greece.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's a good place to start. Yeah,
Yes.
but I
I
mean, it's
agree.
interesting
I
because
agree.
yeah, we should go to a really conservative country. Iran, Iraq. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay, well, if you want to do that, that's fine.
No, I don't want to. So that's my news. Anything new with you?
Oh my gosh, it's Maycember. So it has been crazy. I think that's why we're just now getting together to record again. It's been insane between your traveling and our kids in school and sports and band and work. It's just crazy. So, yeah, this is
Yeah.
a nice little break from some of the insanity, which is really fun to balance when I'm having all of my issues too. So I can't keep anything straight, and it's super fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been crazy.
Well,
I did watch that Oprah special. Did you ever
you
watch
did.
that?
No, I haven't.
I did. You
Did you
have to
think it
watch
was
that, and anybody listening has to watch this.
I will put that on my to-do list, which is 12 feet long at this point. I saw a meme somewhere that like it's May, so that means your kid has 95 school activities in the middle of the day that you have to be at. And that's kind of where we're at this week and next week. There's so many things we have to go to. And then for
Yes.
me and you, this is our busy time of year for work. And so we're dealing with lots of work stuff. And our job is strange. It doesn't end at 5 o'clock. We are constantly getting messages throughout the night. I was kind of annoyed
Oh
last
yeah.
night. I was trying to listen to my Sleepy Time podcast, and in my headphones, I would get WhatsApp messages being played. Like, no.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's how you have nightmares for the night.
I know. It's weird. I wonder if this is why, but I had a dream that I went to Peru. I wonder if it had anything to do with all the WhatsApp messages. Not that we have
Probably
anybody
so.
coming from Peru in the summer, but yeah, that was super strange. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting messages. My Sleepy Time
Oh,
podcast wasn't
see,
working.
I cannot handle that. I
I
will
don't
turn
want to.
notifications off.
I know. I don't want to turn them off because I'm afraid I'll forget to turn them back on. Do you set a
I
timer?
get that. No, so far, knock on wood, so far I have not forgotten. So I
Even with
do a pretty good job at remembering.
even with your perimenopause brain, you remember to turn that back on?
I do. But I think too it helps because when I go to work in the morning and I get on my computer, I have WhatsApp on my computer. And so
Yeah.
when that opens and I have messages, that's usually a good reminder for me to then turn it on my phone.
Yeah.
Realistically, I don't necessarily need it on my phone unless I'm going to be like working mobile. I'm like,
Yeah.
so I mean, honestly, if I have it on my computer, that suffices. But
I know. I should
I
just
just
take it
can't
off my
handle it
phone.
in the night.
I know. I know. Anyway, so should we talk about today's
Yeah,
topic?
I think so. In fact, I thought a moment ago, I thought I might end up having one of these, and it didn't happen. And I'm like, it would be ironic if this did happen.
And what are we talking about today, Lissa?
But we're talking about hot flashes, the number one thing everybody associates with menopause. It's actually, I think, the most notorious. See, words are hard. I'm like,
Is it a
notoriable?
stroke or
Not a word.
menopause? Who
It's
knows?
always 50-50.
Do the smile test. You're fine.
I'm like, I struggle to talk all the time. I can't believe we decided to do a podcast at this point in our time. In our time? You know what? I've had enough. Good day. Molly will take it from here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, at last I have you to myself.
This is so ridiculous. Okay, in this chapter in our life, I cannot believe I'm trying something like this because clearly I can't speak. So, but yeah, so far I have been hot flash free today, but how have they been for you?
Well, I know I've talked about one in the past when we were doing a presentation, but then I had one on the flight from Minneapolis to Dublin. I had one mid-flight, and that, I'm telling you, is the worst place to have hot flashes on a plane. I couldn't get it cold enough, and you can't really get naked in a plane. There are too many cameras, so I just, sat through it and suffered. But the worst one was today. I was taking my kid to school, and I had to have all the windows rolled down, the sunroof open, and the air conditioner just blasting in my face. And she was like, "Why is it so cold in here?" And I'm like, "I'm having a hot flash."
Be quiet, kid.
And you know what I was thinking? And I don't know how much is truth to this. Is truth to this? How much of this is true? But I've noticed 2 times that I've had these, I've had a cup of coffee from a certain place, and that coffee seems to, like, set it off.
Oh,
Yeah, isn't that weird?
okay. So that is interesting because something I found today in looking at some of this stuff, because I wanted to, things I've looked up before, but one thing I had not thought about is that I didn't ever consider that that could be triggered. Like I always just kind of assumed that
Yeah.
it's just kind of part of the deal with your hormones being out of whack. But there are common triggers for them, I found. And so I thought that was interesting. I'll read you what they are. I have them here. Spicy foods is a common trigger. Alcohol and caffeine. Alcohol was kind of a duh, because I think alcohol can kind of make you flushed and warm anyway.
Yeah.
But caffeine, I thought, yeah, I could see that, how it could do that, because it can dilate your blood vessels, and that's what can worsen it. Stress and anxiety, kind of a gimme.
Who is that?
This one made me laugh. This is a real, like, I was shook. I think you're going to be too. Are you ready? Hot environments.
What?
I was like, you don't say. Really?
Huh.
You think being warm externally could trigger that? That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that one down. Hot places.
Write it down. Don't forget it. Hot places.
Yeah.
And then the other one was tight clothing, which I can assure you, I mean, I don't do tight clothing.
No, I don't either. No.
I like to be comfortable. So
But
I'm not
that
interested in that. So, but that is something.
isn't it weird though? It's just from one certain place. I can get coffee from other places and that doesn't have that effect on me. Does that mean that particular place, their coffee is stronger?
And maybe it could be, or something they use, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Because
know.
it says, I mean, the caffeine part of it is just like the dilation to your blood vessels, right? Like that's what causes it. I'm like, it's the same with like alcohol. It's the same reason why that has that effect on you. But I mean, I don't know if it would be like a certain, like maybe that's something we should look into. Like if there's like
Yeah.
actually specific things like foods or,
Yeah.
ingredients or something that can do that. I have
'Cause
not been able to ever like figure out a rhyme or a reason. Mine will just kind
no.
of come and go as they will.
Yeah, I've never either until today. I was like, the last time I had coffee from there, this happened. So maybe. And I've never noticed it like with spicy food. We had Chinese food the other night with spicy, no hot flash. I also feel like I wonder
Yeah.
if do you think, I'm kind of even afraid to say this, but do you think hot flashes occur at certain points in your cycle?
I don't know, because see, I think that's the thing that's crazy about this phase of like peri, is because I feel like, I went from having like my normal cycle, which was, like we've discussed, are always
Yeah.
irregular. And of course, I don't have periods since I had a hysterectomy. And so I just kind of always, because of my ovaries, I still had the hormonal imbalances, and I always kind of knew where I was at in a cycle due to that. Typically, if I was feeling particularly stabby or weepy, then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like that's, oh, it's around the first of the month. That makes sense. But now, like now it's so irregular, and it will last for like longer periods of time, and like sometimes I'll have less break between, or I'll have a longer stretch of break between. So I don't ever really know like where I'm at in a cycle anymore. I'm not really sure, because there's no way to really gauge it anymore like I used to be able to. I regret not keeping my period tracker. That's what I should have done. But in my excitement to be done with that, don't need that anymore, and I got rid of it.
I
Had
too
I been
always.
thinking, I'd have kept it.
Sorry. Go on. We're just so excited.
No, I was just, had I been thinking, I would have kept that.
Yeah, I never had regular periods either. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and now I have an IUD. So I don't typically have periods, but you still cycle. And so,
Right.
but I don't know. It makes you wonder. Probably should look that up, huh?
I know. I mean, it would be interesting to know, because I'm like, I mean, that makes sense, because now I feel like I'm gonna have to like document. Like I have to like we need, maybe we develop a hot flash app.
We'll talk to
Like
Tim.
the
See if he
period
can for us.
trackers.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Like for women who don't need to track a period anymore, but need to track all the other things with it. Like, let's do that. Nobody take that idea, by the way.
Hey, I just thought of something.
Actually, unless you want to.
Yeah, I just thought of something. I need to update you on something else. So,
Okay.
remember when we first started this in episode 1? Go back and listen if you need to. I mentioned that I was going to a new gynecologist.
Yes.
I had that. You don't remember. I had that appointment.
I do too. I was 2 Cosmos in, but I remember.
$17 a piece, mind you.
Right.
I had that appointment. I can't remember when. I think it was right after we got back from our trip. I had that. Oh yeah, that's what it was. So we got home on a Friday at like 5:30 at night, and I before this trip scheduled a gynecology appointment for 7:15 Monday morning. Brilliant.
Oh.
Yeah, who does that? So
Oh.
I go to this new gynecologist. She's nice. She's all right. She told me I have a nice cervix, which I've never been told before, and I enjoyed that. I mean,
But did she tell you what the criteria is for
she
that?
didn't. You know what, Lisa? I took the compliment and ran. I'm not asking,
That's
like.
fantastic. But I'd be curious to see a rubric. because I have never been told that.
That's just pure jealousy right there. I mean, you are jealous
It
that I
is.
have a nice cervix.
It is. It is. I don't even have a cervix anymore.
Well, anyway, I have a nice cervix.
Odd compliment, but I mean, overall,
Yeah.
how'd you feel about this new doctor?
Well, I wasn't quite sure how to respond to that. I just said thank you. I felt like that
As
was a
one would,
polite thing to
as
do.
one would,
Yeah. But,
right?
I liked her. She was very nice. She did come in and she said, "You were with so and so for over 10 years." I'm like, "Yeah, I really liked her." And she agreed. She liked her too. But I told her we were doing this, and she thought that was a really great idea. And maybe a future listener. I don't know. But I was talking to her about hot flashes, and she said there are some over-the-counter herbal things that you can use. She mentioned one in particular, but I'm not too keen on using that kind of stuff. Are you?
So like hit or miss. It depends on what it is. I also had one that was suggested to me a couple years ago, like when it was all first kind of starting, and I wasn't sure if that's really what was even happening yet.
Yeah.
And so I decided it was an over-the-counter supplement. I'd give it a try and see. I did not care for it. I will
Yeah.
say, it had a sexual side effect. Like it was like a libido killer. And maybe that's not what it is. It's the only thing that changed in that period of time.
Oh, wow.
And so it's the only thing I could have chalked it up to being. And then ironically, the person that had suggested it to me, she is on a lot of medications that already impact that. And
Oh.
so I think that ship has sailed in her life. And so she
Oh.
was just like, when I told her about it, she was just like, "Oh, well, I don't care about that part." And I was like, "But I do. I do care about that." So I quit taking it. It did really work. Like as far as I felt like it stabilized my mood a little bit, and it really kind of, it helped with the hot flashes. It helped with the night sweats. I can't say I saw a difference in insomnia, but it really killed my libido. And
Mm.
and that was just a particular brand. Maybe there's another one out there that wouldn't do that. I don't know. But after I tried it, I was just like, I'm not ready for that. That chapter's not over in my life yet. So I'm not
Yeah.
ready for that yet.
Yeah, don't blame you. Well, while a doctor was recommending that to me, I still I'm very leery of that stuff. Supplements. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe because they're not regulated.
Well, and yeah, exactly. I agree with that 100%. And honestly, I get weary about even prescriptions. So I think a lot of it, and they are regulated, but
Yeah.
I'm always kind of iffy. And not that I don't trust doctors, because I do. I mean, I do think that there needs to be trust in that as well, and their education and expertise. But I also know pharmaceutical companies and how that works. So I'm like, there's always kind of a hesitance with some of that stuff as well for me. I did read that there are natural supplements a lot of women claim are very helpful, not like taking something like that, but doing things like soy or flaxseed, things like that, that they claim helps them. I have not tried that. I'm not
No,
sure
me
if I
neither.
would necessarily, just
I know. I
because
think I'd rather
I'm
have a hot
lazy.
flash. Yeah.
I know, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I really want to drink like soy or
I
flaxseed.
know. That's what I was just thinking. Like, I'll just take the hot flash.
I know. I know. So I have heard of those things. And then I know like another one my mother-in-law swears by, and this was her advice to me, was vitamin E, which is, actually supposed to be really good for like your hair and your skin.
Mm-hmm.
But she swore that it helped her with hot flashes. So I started taking it. I'd already had it because I used to use it for like when I was trying to grow my hair out, and I damaged my hair a lot. I didn't notice any difference. So, I mean, I think it just, I mean, I think it depends on who you are and like the body, whatever. Like, I just don't think that there's not a one size fits all for any of it. So I think it's a matter of just
Yeah.
kind of figuring out what works for you.
You know what works best for me, honestly, for hot flashes? Chocolate. Just good quality
mean,
chocolate.
I don't see anywhere you can go wrong with chocolate.
No, no.
I will tell you the thing about a hot flash for me is that it's brutal, like definitely not fun, not super long lasting. It'll last a few minutes, but I think for me personally, the hardest part about it is once I get through that, how freezing cold I am. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like my body temperature drops again, and then I am just like can't warm up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's why I'm in what I'm in right now. Like I go through those periods too where I can't get warm either.
I don't like the dampness. That's such a gross word.
It's pretty gross. That was a gross choice.
That's so gross. Like
But I don't know
dampness,
if there's anything better.
moisture. I don't like.
I was gonna say, whoa, you're going into way worse territory.
Yeah, I know. But like my socks are always a little bit damp. I hate that. Like nothing's grosser than wet
Yeah.
socks. Honestly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get like the because I have curly hair naturally. So when I start to sweat, I get like these little curls around my face and like underneath. And that grosses me out. Like I'll go to put my hair up and I see like the little curls because I'd had a hot flash and I was sweating. I sweat like a man now, by the way. Like,
Have you
that's
switched?
a whole new thing.
Have you switched to a men's deodorant?
No. And I think that would be a slippery slope given the state of what the deodorant talk is in my house,
Oh,
particularly
that's
with
right.
the men.
Sorry.
That's still a fire that burns here.
Yeah.
So,
I switched to the clinical strength deodorant.
okay. Yes. Okay. So I already use that, which says a lot about me as a person now that I'm saying that out loud. But I've already been using that. But I will tell you, I have found that I have to use it a couple times a day now. Like sometimes I push through it.
You're a reapplier?
Sometimes.
Wow.
Sometimes when, especially if I've had days where I'm having hot flashes or I'm particularly sweaty, because even if I'm not, that's the other thing is I was not prepared for, like, you think hot flashes and you just like, everybody knows like, oh, they get hot, their face gets red, whatever. And that is like a different, it's like, I even told my mother-in-law, I said, it's so crazy how I can feel it start in my toes. And then it's like, it just like rolls up over me. And it's like from the inside out, which is so bizarre. But I'm like, so yeah, I wasn't prepared for that part of it. But then I kind of thought, okay, but those come and go. But I didn't realize, and maybe this is just me, but I feel like I run like hotter or colder now. Like I can't regulate my body temperature like I was used to.
Yeah.
And so now, even if I'm not having like right now, I'm hot. I can feel it. Like I'm starting to get sweaty on my neck because I put this sweatshirt on because I was freezing before we started recording. And so like, I feel like there's no in between. I'm always either hot or cold. So then because I'm always like running hot, then I sweat so much more. And so then I push through my deodorant more. And if I have a hot flash, then it's even worse. And there are times I go to like put my hair up in a ponytail and I'm like, is that me?
Like, nobody else in the room. Okay, so now that makes me wonder. I don't smell too bad, actually. Because I had the hot flash and I didn't reapply. I think it's okay.
I was unprepared for those things. Like stinking is my biggest fear. Like I am very particular about, like, I don't ever want to stink. I don't ever want to have bad breath. Like a smell is such a big deal for me. And so, and not just smell, like I don't want to smell bad, but like that is something like I pick out smells in anything. And so I'm always so afraid I'm going to stink. And I think always being hot and sweaty like a man, like I worry. I mean, not saying men stink. I mean, I'm just saying that I sweat like a man and I'm like, it's hard. And it's gross. Like now that we're going into summertime, I have times where like I'm sitting on something in shorts and then I go to stand up and I'm like, oh my God, like I left that on the seat. So I've like had to like slide off of stuff so I can like wipe it because of my sweaty butt. I'm like, what the
Oh,
heck?
yeah. With summer coming, you're right. Because I feel like, we talked about this not on the podcast, but before we even started this, that like there were mornings when I would just go outside through the patio door and just stand there and like cool off. And now it's like, what am I going to
Mm-hmm.
do? I can't go outside because we live in the Midwest where it's like 95%
Right?
humidity all the time. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Summer's going to be
I
interesting.
know. I know. That's real.
Yeah.
There's always the freezer.
Yeah, that's true. I don't have one I can sit in though.
No, I'd break mine if I did that, but I could at least open like the fridge even. The fridge isn't
Yeah.
cold enough though. Not in those moments. It's not cold enough.
No.
That's what cold
No.
showers are for, I guess. I don't know.
I have this thing in our freezer. It's this ball that's got some kind of liquid in it. So I got it for my
Okay.
TMJ, and I like would roll it on my face. So maybe that would
Mhm.
work. Just like roll it.
Oh, and I'll show you actually really quick. I can show you. It's right here. I have like an inflammation mask.
That's
I
creepy.
mean,
Put
let
it
me
on.
tell
You
you,
got to put it
you
on.
look,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you look horrifying with it. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I should probably take my glasses off. That
Yeah, I
would
was
be
gonna say I don't
smarter.
think it's gonna work with your glasses on.
No, it would not. You look horrifying with it on, but let me tell you, this
I
feels good if you have a headache.
It's a good look.
It feels good if you've cried yourself to sleep the night before because you're hormonal and think everybody hates you. It's good for puffy eyes. I'm like, it's
Leave it
great for
on.
scaring your husband if you just want to like
Finish
scare him.
finish the podcast with that on.
Okay.
Now, can you put
Can
that
I
in the
put my
freezer?
glasses back on?
Yeah, you can.
There we go.
Do you put that in the freezer?
Yes, so I just put it in the freezer in a little Ziploc bag. And so it's fantastic. It feels so good and it helps with inflammation and redness. And I've used it, like I said, with, for migraines and things like that. It's great.
It's like a weird Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's like a what?
Weird Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hello!
All right, take it off. You got to take that off.
Yeah, I couldn't hardly see. My glasses weren't on, right? So you have to understand that I saw like a big blue blur.
Where'd you get that? Oh, wait, don't say. Tell me later.
Yeah, I feel like I just ordered it online. So, but it's fantastic. I even let my son's girlfriend use it the other day, and she also got to enjoy the added benefit of scaring her boyfriend. So it's fantastic.
I might have to get one of those.
I know
like
you should. And so it would be good. Like it would be really good if you do something like that when you're hot because it will cool you off. So that
Yeah.
would be something I definitely suggest. And it was very inexpensive.
I'll send you the
It's
link
like
to the
gel.
Rolly thing. Yeah. The Rolly thing is pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I'll send you a link for this too.
All right.
Maybe we can do like an Amazon storefront like influencers do.
No.
Golly.
There'd be some really weird stuff at our Amazon storefront, though, wouldn't it?
I think it would be, if nothing else, very entertaining to our listeners.
Do you think they make cooling underwear?
Oh. Actually, you know what that makes me? I don't know if that exists. It could. It wouldn't shock me in this day and age. But thinking about go back to when we were having babies, like to that like postnatal stuff that you do, that I'm like, I'm sure there's like, how you'd sit on like ice packs
Oh,
and
yeah.
things.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm sure there's like, if you looked that route, like there could be something you might find beneficial. just for different uses
Yeah,
or
but
different reasons.
that'd be kind of hard though, because you would have to like quick go change your underwear. Like, and that might not be feasible for like people who have normal jobs. We work from home, we could do it. But like if you were in a board meeting, you couldn't just leave and go put on cooling underwear and then come
Yeah.
back.
And then you have to think about too, what would that really feel like?
I was just thinking, I'm not sure I would enjoy that actually.
Yeah, because I don't actually even like the cooling like seats in my car.
No, I don't like those
So
either. It makes it feel like you peed yourself.
yeah,
I don't like those. Yeah.
it does. I don't. And then when I got a sweaty butt, like I do all the time now, it's even more uncomfortable. So I don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't care for it.
Yeah. Strike the cooling underwear. We don't need cooling underwear. No.
All right. Yeah. We'll, this is what this is. We brainstorm and, not every idea is it.
They're not all winners. That's right.
They're not all winners.
They're not. I mean, no.
Who put us in charge of this? Why are we doing this?
I don't know. But I got to tell you, we are 41 minutes in. And do you want to go for 45 or should we end it?
I mean, I think we're good. I think we pretty much covered what we were going to talk about, and then a lot of other stuff that probably nobody cared about.
A lot of really random, wild stuff. Oh, can I talk about the TMJ thing? I know it's not a hot flash thing, but can I talk about it real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. You could say no. I feel like you hesitated.
No, there's just a delay.
Okay, so those of you who have TMJ issues, I can think of at least 2 people. But I've always had it just on my right side. The other night, my left side hurt really bad. And so I was texting Lissa and I said, hey, do you think this is a perimenopause thing? I looked it up and it is. It can go to the other side because like everything else, hormonal changes. So now I get to enjoy TMJ issues on both sides.
Isn't it crazy how much our hormones control?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like the HBIC of our bodies.
What? The H what?
The HBIC. The head
What's
bitch
that?
in charge.
Oh. Like, I don't. Do you mean
Do they not say that in Iowa?
Did you mean HVAC system?
I mean, tomato, I guess, but
Head bitch in charge. I suppose people say that. I don't know if I've ever heard it, honestly.
Well, that's what our hormones are. And here all this time, I thought that's who I was. But apparently, I'm their bitch.
That's right. Estrogen, progesterone, they're in charge. All right. Lissa, great talking with you once again.
As always, it was a pleasure, Bo.
Well, it is when we get together, isn't it? Till next time, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Hey, if you enjoyed the chaos,
hit subscribe, leave a review,
or text it to your group chat of women who are secretly Googling, is this normal?